Sylacauga's 2018 high school football team is undefeated at this point, and you're going through those workouts. Summer, how's that going?
Yeah, it's going well. It always does. Our kids do a good job of coming. You have to be more flexible now. We talked about that. You know, when the state came in a year or two ago and they're allowing unlimited games for basketball in June, and they allow unlimited games for baseball, and it caused, because we have a multi-athlete at Sylacauga. We have a lot of kids that play a lot of different sports, and we have to share our kids, and we've had
how does it affect you?
Well, it's a good thing. We've had to sit down and really work out a schedule so that kids can participate in everything, and it's made coaches really work hard so that kids have an opportunity to do all the things that we need to do. It makes it a little more difficult in football, especially in June. It does, and but one thing about it is we've told our kids, if we're doing something with the high school, if basketball's got a play-in date or baseball's got a play-in date, they're excused from workouts. I mean, that's a school function, and we allow that to happen. And then in July, all that has to shut down, and it kind of focuses in on football then. So, you have to work together more than you ever have so that kids have those opportunities.
From a media standpoint, today kicks off unofficially the start of high school football season with the Media Day coaches event along with their players up at Talladega, and you guys are involved in that.
We are. We'll be on at 1:40. It's something that Talladega's done for a number of years now, and it's a good thing. It's like a small little SEC Media Day, and it gives you get to bring 2 to 3 players with you. They'll be on the table with me. They get to be interviewed, and it's a good experience for those kids, and it's a good way to kick off everything in Talladega County football.
Who you bringing with you today?
I'm bringing our quarterback, Dalen Keith. I'll bring our strong safety, Rusty Kraft, and I'm bringing our center, Austin Allen. And three amazing kids, very hard workers, hadn't missed workouts. They've just been good, solid leaders for our team.
Speaking of workouts continue, but fall camp is just days away now.
Oh yeah, we've got next week. We'll do a Tuesday morning workout. We'll do a Wednesday afternoon workout because we start as teachers. And then Thursday night in the stadium will be our Aggie Combine night. We open it up. We allow our fans and parents to come in, and they watch us test our kids on a 40 and a pro shuttle on a 300. And it's a little NFL Combine thing. And we just like our parents to show our kids a little bit of reward of what they've been through all summer. So we'll do that next Thursday night at 6 in the stadium.
How much business is involved this time of the year with your football program?
You're more busy than people think. I know I'll be at the Piggly Wiggly or something. People say, Coach, you ready to get started? You've been at that. Well, you work every day, and it's not as stressful because you're not in season, but it never goes away, and you're just as busy in the summer as you are when school's in. I mean, and just getting ready for the season is a lot of apprehension and a lot of pressure in itself until you can get everybody in a routine, so.
Look at this team from a year back to now. Some of the guys that you're bringing back, you mentioned a couple of them already this morning, but the direction of this program, I mean, people are used to those 8 and 9 win seasons, right. But you're not satisfied with that.
And I never have been, and getting over the hump has been difficult. I mean, we've done a lot of different things to try to get us over that hump, and we've always said, you can never, ever take for granted winning 7 or 8 games. There's a lot of programs that can't get there, but we don't want to get stagnant, and we want to take it to the highest level that we can. Going to the northern bracket, we think is going to help us.
Different makeup there.
Different makeup there. You're not running into a St. Paul's, into a Jackson, a Demopolis, a Eufaula, even a Greenville. All those schools down south, you're first or second round. So that in itself should help us. Number 2, we're bigger up front than we've been in the past. Our defensive front, our linebacker, and they're all juniors, are very good. We're very pleased where we are right there. We're a little thin in our secondary. Offensively, being a little bit bigger up front's got us excited. We've got a very fast, explosive quarterback again with Dalen. Dalen's just not as tall as Keaton. He's probably a little faster. He throws a good ball. We've moved the Ridgeway kid to the main B-back, and we think Jordan is just a tremendous athlete. If you're a baseball fan, you've seen Jordan play shortstop and second base.
He's a good one.
Tremendous athlete. Coach Smith's son, Journey Stockdale, and a kid named Lou Dale. Many people remember Lou. Lou's been in our program since he was a little kid. He went to CVA last year. He's moved back. And we think we've got some intangibles there to be a very, very good football team if we stay healthy. And the kids they got to gel. Every team's just a little bit different. So, we're excited about it. We think we can be explosive offensively again, and you add a very good defense to that, and I think that's where that may get us over the hump.
As far back as I remember doing interviews with you and talking about football, you've always had a concern about a small offensive line.
Yes.
This year is a breath of fresh air.
A little bit. We had the year, I don't know if anybody remember, the year we went second round and played Spanish forward, we were big up front, and we got out of the first round. We had decent skill, but we were very good up front. And that's probably the biggest line we've had since I've been here. People don't realize that last year we're playing with about 180-pound kid across front. But we were so fast and so quick you didn't have to block long. We're bigger up front. We're hoping that in itself, with a very explosive quarterback and good skill kids, can get us over that hump and get us, and it's all about what we call making noise. You make the playoffs, and it's a great thing, and it's great for the kids. But you don't make noise in the state till you get in that second, third round, and then everybody in the state is saying the Sylacauga name. That's important to us. We want to be not only a good football program, we want to be an elite football program in 5A.
Talk about some of the additions to the schedule this year from last year.
Yeah, it's almost totally different. We added, we will open up with Leeds High School, which is a predominantly 4A powerhouse. We're playing Chilton County again.
Now, that's the 24th?
Yes, that will be what's called 0 week.
Okay, zero.
Yeah,
is that a zero game for you guys?
That is a zero game. It's a full game. It's not a jamboree. We'll play Chilton County again, which is our non-region. We'll play Childersburg. The only team that's left over from the old region is Central of Clay. And we've added Montford. We think that's going to be a big night because that's a county game, but that's a region game.
And they're a good football program.
Good football program. And the rest of it's really out of Birmingham or a suburb of Birmingham. It's Mortimer Jordan, very good football program. You've got St. Clair County that went to the semis. Mm-hmm. You've got Springville. You've got Moody. All those have been added, so it's going to be a very different schedule for us, and we're playing a lot of teams that we've never played before in the past.
That zero game is less than a month away now, and it seems like it may be a long way off, but it's really not.
No, it's not.
What do you try to do in a zero game? It doesn't count against the standings or the region or anything like that. What do you try to do with that?
Well, you go to win. And plus, it's the first game that it's live. It's going to be so.
It's like a regular
it is
game.
A regular full game that counts. It may not count for region, but it counts as tiebreakers. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the game's important, and plus it's your first game. We're playing it at home, and it's important for the fans to see, that the football program is still doing what it needs to be doing. So, it's worrisome now because you only have 3 weeks to get ready for that. Once you start practice, you've got 2 weeks to get your team where they need to be, and then a week to prepare for Leeds, and it pushes it. I worry more about are we in good enough shape in that first game than anything else. The offense and defense will take care of itself. I just worry, are we in good enough shape? Are we going to cramp? Are we going to do this? Those kind of things. It's hot, and you're playing in a lot of older football players. We never played this early. When you and I were in school, you did not play before after Labor Day.
September.
Yeah, you played September. So you worry about the heat. I worry about the heat more than anything else. And I know everybody's on coaches about heat exhaustion and dehydration. But we can't control what a kid drinks the day before. Mm-hmm. It's not what he drinks when he's at practice.
So that affects him 24 hours out?
It affects him 24 hours out. If a kid the day before practice has drank nothing but Mountain Dews or energy drinks or Cokes or sweet tea and Kool-Aid, and then he comes to us for a morning practice, he's going down. He can't make it through the practice because he didn't hydrate the day before. And I can't give him enough water to hydrate him while he's going through practice if he didn't hydrate the day before. It's very, very important as a parent to make your athlete that plays football to hydrate the day before. He's got to drink a lot of water. So,
you got an open date this year?
We have an open date on week 10, the week before the playoffs, to give us a rest. We did that on purpose, and because we feel it's important this year to have that week off before we hit that playoff run.
Coach Matt Griffith, our guest this morning, the head football coach and athletic director at Sylacauga High School. And as an athletic director, you got to be concerned about monies and funding other programs. How has this St. Paul's lawsuit affected or can affect Sylacauga High School athletic department?
Yeah, it's going to affect that profit sharing check, which it runs us almost close to $4,000. And many people don't know that St. Paul's sued the Alabama High School Athletic Association. When St. Paul's sued the association, you're under a profit sharing from what they do, and every school gets a check at the beginning of the year. Well, what the association's done since they're under a lawsuit, they've held that money to use it to pay lawyers to fight off the lawsuit. So it's punished every single school because St. Paul's is sued. That profit sharing check does not go to football. It goes into a general athletic fund. Out of that general athletic fund, we pay coaches' cards, we pay coaches' fees, we pay catastrophic insurance for our athletes. Many people don't know that every single athlete at our school, we pay $7 per athlete so that if something tragically happens, they have catastrophic insurance to help that parent. And so that's going to deplete our general athletic fund because those things still have to be paid for. We will no longer be able to pay for it with that check until that check comes, and it looks like we're not getting that check until St. Paul's either drops the lawsuit or the lawsuit is thrown out of court.
So the $4,000 that Sylacauga High School Athletic Department receives, you've not received that for this year?
No, we will not receive it until that lawsuit goes away. That's what we were told at the AD conference.
You think about, and I'm not a pro or against any of this. I'm just found out about it a couple of weeks ago, and the lawsuit itself can really adversely affect those smaller schools that really, they're under the gun anyway. Right. Money's
and we can absorb it at our school. We can absorb that and get by. It hurts us, but I can't imagine a TC or a Winterboro or a BB Comer who really, really is waiting on that check so that they can pay their catastrophic insurance for athletes, or that they need it somewhere down the line, that it's really going to hurt your small schools.
What was this, from what you know of it, what was this actual lawsuit about, and what does it entail?
Well, I can understand if they wanted to sue. The way they worded the lawsuit makes no sense. It doesn't make a lick of sense. They sued saying that by playing in an upper division, that it was endangering their kids, that their kids were playing bigger kids, faster kids.
Now they moved to 6A this year?
They moved to 6A. Well, they dominated 5A for years. And if that lawsuit goes much further, I've always said that Sylacauga needs to sue St. Paul's, because when we played them in the first round of the playoffs, I didn't have a kid over 200 pounds on them. It was a huge, they had 6 D1 kids. I had a linebacker going to a D3 Huntington. So if their lawsuit wins, then anybody can sue when you're playing a team that's got better athletes. That's basically what they're saying. It's not going to win. It's going to be eventually thrown out. But by doing this, they've hurt a lot of schools.
And it leaves a bad taste in the mouths of other schools, because St. Paul is kind of a standalone down there in Mobile County, and as you say, they dominated 5A for several years, and they moved to 6A, and this is going to be something that kind of goes on for a while, because I think some of those folks down there got some pretty deep pockets.
Oh, I'm sure they do. It doesn't help St. Paul's. You're already a private school, so you operate under a different set of rules anyway that heavily recruit kids to come in and play at their place, and all private schools do, which makes public schools very upset. And now you've done this, and it doesn't take much to dislike the private schools playing in our league. So I don't know what's going to come of it. I hope it eventually gets dropped and everybody gets their revenue check. But it's a mess right now.
That's just something else on your plate
to
deal with as an AD.
Well, you think about it. I mean, you take a $4,000 hit to an athletic budget, and to a lot of people, $4,000 is not a lot, but that's half a gate. I mean, that's a lot of money, and you're not hurting schools as much as you're hurting kids. We do these things for these kids, and you do a lot of things for the safety of kids, and it will still get done, but it's going to hurt the budget as it does. So,
Coach Matt Griffith, our guest this morning. I don't know how you're making it this summer without grass to cut.
Well, me and you were talking about it. I still cut. I've got a soccer game field I cut the utility field, and there's a surrounding areas that we cut. For you. Very much so. If you can get on a tractor and be left alone for a little while, that's hard to do when you're an AD and head football coach and just everything has to run through you. It's hard to get away for a couple of hours. So I enjoy cutting grass and just getting out there and being left alone for a couple of hours.
As the AD at Sylacauga High School, you got to be awfully proud of this entire program at Sylacauga High School.
Yeah, I'm very proud, and my biggest thing, I'm not a salesman. I wish I was a great salesman. I'm not. I'm just a coach, and we're very organized. We're very proud of our sports programs. We probably don't do enough to promote it so that the community knows how well our athletic programs have been over the last 5 or 6 years. And it's because we've got very, very good coaches in place. We've got really good kids at Sylacauga that respond well to old-style, tough coaching. And we've got good parents, and we've got a really good thing going. We've always got little problems. Everybody does, and it's not perfect. But our community should be very, very proud of where we are in our athletic programs and where they're going and how they've been. And the ones that aren't making the playoffs, there's a lot of progress there so that they can make the playoffs. The ones that are in the playoffs, we want to get further. I mean, we've got a state championship basketball team. We have a state championship level girls team that just had a young year for the first time probably in 10 or 12 years. And it's gonna get just better. It was a down year. So it's those kind of things that we're just very, very proud, and it takes a lot of work to keep it there.
Finally this morning, coaching cohesiveness is very important. Any changes on the staff this year at Sylacauga?
Well, Patrick Harris resigned the volleyball, and we hired Ashley Blocker. She's a hometown girl. She graduated from here. She's coached at a private school. She coached a little bit at Childersburg. She came back last year to teach at Nicholas Lawson, and she's taken over the volleyball program. We're very excited about that. We think with her and the staff that's already there that we can get volleyball back in the playoffs and be a championship program.
And you're talking about competitive. Man, that has just jumped off the page.
It sure has. It has. Volleyball is very competitive across the state. It's almost like softball. Girls softball is very competitive across the state. So I think that's the only change.
Football staff intact.
Football staff's intact. We're just getting old. We've been together, so long, and we're all, I'm looking around, and thank goodness we hired Matt Collier a couple years ago. He's maybe 25, because I think the rest of us are 50 and we're pushing over 50 now. So, but we've been together a very long time. We know each other very well. And, it's a good staff, but it's a good athletic staff across the board.
And, we laugh about it a little bit, but being together for a long period of time, I mean, it has some real pluses.
It has a lot of pluses that we know, but I'm a firm believer, too, in bringing in an outside source about every couple of years so that you get new ideas. You can't get complacent, and you can't lose track of what's going on in your sport because what you're doing is still working. I'm a firm believer in staying up to date and always bringing new ideas. I was fortunate enough to coach in the North-South All-Star game last week. That was an awesome experience. Not only coaching other people's kids, but to sit down with you have to be a head coach to coach in it. To sit down with other head coaches. Tom Causey was from Pelham. Drew Gilmer, who went to the semifinals at Clay Chalkville. Ryan Lawley from Gordo. Chris Musso was the head coach. He was from Locust Fork. And we probably Coach Sanders from Donahoe coached in it. We probably sat up till 1 a.m. comparing notes. And it's not about X's and O's as much as how do you handle this situation? Mm-hmm. How do you do this? How do you motivate your kids? That was phenomenal. And I want to put a plug in for Keaton Wilson. Keaton played quarterback. He started it. He was a team captain. And at the end of the game, he was the most valuable player. He had a tremendous game. I think because of it, he's got a couple of more opportunities other than Huntington to play college football. And I got to give a shout out to him. He did everything we asked him to do. And when he got that opportunity, he made the most of it. And life is about getting the opportunity and making the most of those opportunities. And he did it. It was a very good, special thing for me.
Got to make you smile.
Well, it did because, I'm getting to coach in it. He's getting to play in it. And you're coaching your kid. They let me coach him all week. And you're getting to coach him one more time. And it was just a special thing to see him be so successful. And that's him. Keaton's a phenomenal athlete, but people don't realize when he's on the football field, he's a student of the game. He does a good job. He knows football. And I'm just very, very proud. And that was a special week for us, and that was a great experience.
All right, we'll see you later today up in Talladega.
Okay, thank you.
Coach
Thanks
Matt Griffith, the head football coach and athletic director at Sylacauga High School, been wanting to get Coach Griff on to talk about some of these topics. We're honored to have him this morning. We've got more Daybreak just ahead.